Maybe this will help. Will this help you?
Don't forget the maybe, baby. Don't forget the maybe, baby.
All I'm saying is we need to get in the studio.
Baby.
It's showtime.
Welcome to another episode of Maybe This Will Help.
We doing the things. We just
did the short version.
We just see what I'm noticing is that when we play all the rest of our intros and that music, people be claiming rights, and so it kind of mutes the first part of our show. That's Maybe This Will Help original, and so we can start right after that, just like this.
Maybe this will help. Will this help you?
Don't forget the maybe, baby. Don't forget the maybe, baby.
All I'm saying is we need to get in the studio.
It's showtime.
Welcome to another episode of Maybe This Will Help.
Just like that.
I say F them people, and we should still play my favorite snippet from the live show.
And welcome to another episode of Maybe This Will Help, the podcast, give you the good, the bad, the alimony, that relationship talk you can relate to, with the one and only Mr. Mike D. Daniels, model extraordinaire, aka Mr. Runway, aka can't keep my shirt on when the camera's out, aka I got 3 dimples, don't figure that out, I don't know, aka long hair, don't care.
All right,
what's up?
I'll take it. I'll receive it.
aka all my teeth are white. Yeah, I got
except for that one in the back, but we working on it.
Wow, that's not. Yo, my brother.
What up,
you want to give him the good news or the bad news?
I don't have no bad news, so
okay. It just is what it is.
Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, just to give you a heads up, if you got friends that show up late, tell them to get here now, because tonight's show is only going to be an hour. We are only doing an hour tonight. We're doing 8 p.m., 8:07 to 9 o'clock tonight. You care to tell them why, or it is what it is?
Oh no, yeah. My son just got back from his trip to Africa, and I just want to be available to him. I don't want to, first day back and just shut him out. So, you know what I mean? Just some family time, and yeah, that's really all that needs to be said, right?
Doing dad things.
And that was actually more than what needed to be said. But
more than what we usually say.
Right. You get that story that says, sorry.
No show tonight. Man, well, why don't we check in and get into it, bro? What's this week been like for you?
This week. It's been good. Me and Jay finally got that third bedroom together. It was a storage, but cleaned that out. So that was a big check mark off the to-do list of stuff to do. What else? Denham came home today, so that's good. Football season started back, so I started back coaching last week. That's always fun. But man, I gained. What's crazy is I gained, and it almost had me go into a slight depression. I gained so much weight back, but I don't see it. I don't see it in my stomach. I feel smaller. To me, in the mirror, I look slimmer. But when I tell you how much weight I gained, you're gonna be like, "Whoa!"
You got solid. You just got solid. Is that what it is? You've been doing that time under tension in the gym,
and that's what I told Jay. I said we've been doing that a lot. So I don't know if it's just the muscle or what. Like I could see some of my stomach definition has left, but this much weight is like, she was like, maybe we should just go get some blood work done, because I'll just tell you, since we transparent. So you remember when I told you I was in the 270s?
Yeah.
295. I don't know. And you would think because
no,
I show a lot in my face.
It's Taco Tuesdays.
A lot in my stomach, but 295. I'm like, what? And I went on this scale. I even went on the scale at the gym. I tried another skill, and they all reading the same. So I'm like, oh man, that's interesting. So yeah, that's where I'm at, bro.
Hey, if it feels well and you functional, roll with it.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm just such a numbers guy. You know what I mean?
Such a woman thing to say. No, I understand.
Everybody can't weigh 165 like you, brother, and wear it so well. You know what I mean? So
not tonight. People told me I had to stop being mean to you, so not tonight.
Oh man, that's no fun. Where's the fun in that?
I'm gonna let you live. Look, come on with the Bastien. She said, "Don't muscle way more than fat."
I've heard both.
Yeah,
I've heard both, but you know, what do I know?
Ego weighs more than all of them. This has been a good week for me. You know what? You never know what you're really made of until like some life or God like puts you in front of situations that used to shake you, right? Yeah. And so just dealing with a lot this week, you know, anniversaries of deaths, and then my homeboy, his dad passed away on Tuesday. Wow. Dude I grew up with, still close with, him, you know, knew his dad, and man, it was a part of my, like, you know, adolescence years, a major part, because it was through our church. And so, you know, just being familiar with this situation and helping my boy through it, you know, it's just been, you know, you recognize that sometimes you go through things and it doesn't make you hard, but it does make you more empathetic. And so you have a different kind of sensitivity. So when other people going through it, you can be an aid. So yeah. It's been a good week, man, just to see, you know, what I'm made of in different situations, and even the grieving process and seeing how I'm handling it, you know, year by year. And I'm proud of myself, and I'm just happy to see it's evolving me and not destroying me, you know what I'm saying, over time. So
that's definitely growth.
Yeah, man.
Maturity, man.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know what we're about to do. We're about to get into some of these videos. We only got y'all for an hour tonight. So grab your best friend, grab your favorite snack. Let's get into this conversation. Based on what Mike just said a few minutes ago, I want to start tonight's show with something like this. Shoot. There it go.
Do women like men who are in shape, or do women like men with dad bods? I'm about to tell you. Women have one night stands with guys who are in shape. Women are sexually attracted to guys who are in shape. Women like to have fun with guys who are in shape. You see, women don't usually settle down with these type of guys because they don't want to deal with the problems that come with dealing with these type of guys. What's the problems? Options. Men who take care of their bodies, men who take care of themselves, keep their look up to par, have options with women. No cap. You see, women are emotionally attached to the dad bod guy. The dad bod guy is safe. He's the safe guy. She knows where he gonna be at, on the couch eating chips, not working out. He's controllable. That's why she married him. No cap.
Go ahead and ask Jay if that's factual or not.
You know, sometimes I just think that people have nothing better to do on the internet, so I just get on and just say random things that float through their head. I can't see any sound basis on that statement, probably because I've been on all sides of that statement and nothing has rang true, at least not for me. And I've heard a lot of women say that. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily think that the as far as marriage potential, that your body plays a big factor in that. As far as whether I decide, if I got two women who are exactly the same in every way possible, right? Exactly the same, even down to their looks, and one is a little bit more heavier set and one is a little bit more curvy, I'm not going to pick the heavier set one just because I think that she's safer. I'm going to pick whatever it is that I like to look at. Now, if I like to look at heavier set, that's what I'm going to go with. If I like to look at the curvy, big butts, that's what I'm going to go with.
Let me introduce you to a certain part of the conversation. Now, I saw a video that wasn't even in support of this, but it talked about men who go to the gym And it says the fact that he goes to the gym, or that he's not even going to the gym, the fact that he's in shape says a few things about him. It says he's familiar with discipline. It says that he actually takes care of the things that he cares about. It also says that he has a routine and discipline, and taking care of something you care about. For all those things signal safe to a woman. All those things signal secure and grounded to a woman. Now, like he said, there may be some things to where that the reason for being in shape, you know what I'm saying, to have those options, or because it's vanity driven, could be a red flag. But for the most part, nobody gets in shape without being disciplined, even people who use performance enhancing drugs. So there is a discipline that's evident in this man that you can see just because he works out. Not to say that a dad bod man isn't disciplined. You just may have to find the evidence somewhere else. So going back to your statement about the two women, you're telling me that a woman being in shape doesn't have an advantage in your head of someone that you can better partner with because she understands discipline, or that's not really the defining factor of if a person's disciplined or not, they're in shape. There's better ways to find out, like their credit score.
I feel like they're 100% better ways to find out, because it could be, you see all the time, I'm going on the trip in January, so I'm gonna work out for 5 weeks, and then after that I'm gonna go back to eating fried chicken and chilling. You know what I mean? So how you see them in that moment doesn't necessarily mean they're disciplined in life. It means the season that you see them in, that may be disciplined.
Wow.
And that vanity thing,
picture. Let me see a baby picture.
That plays a big part too. As far as, okay, I'm gonna get in the gym just so I can go out and get a whole bunch of women. That's what you
okay. That's true. So again, it comes down to a brother's intention, but it does say something. So he was saying in that video that they'll settle down with the dad bod because one thing that a lot of women struggle with is a man having a lot of female options, or the threats to their relationship is usually another woman trying to get their man. And he's saying in that video that dad bods don't really have as many options as a man that's fit, which, is not necessarily true. Vicky even said it. Vicky said, Cap, I know dad bod dudes out living hot boy summer all year long that belong to the streets. And then Ali made a real good point. She said 100%. She said, you can be in shape without having abs. So it's a difference between actually being in shape and looking like you in shape. Because you can have the physique, but not the endurance. You can have the physique and not the flexibility and mobility. So what does in shape really mean?
Very true. But for the sake of this video, I feel like he meant the niggas with the abs and the muscles. Well, okay. I feel like he wasn't meaning you go to the doctor and you get a green check mark on your health. I think he meant
six pack versus dad bod is what it was.
Yeah, right. So
answer this from a man's perspective. Pookie even said dad bod or athletic type can get the same attention. It's all about the woman's preference. So for you, and I'll answer this question afterwards. Mom bod, is that a thing?
I feel like it could be. It could be.
Mom bod, or I don't know, man. I don't think men even look at it like that. Like I heard this one dude say, he's like, women, that matters to women. Men just like women. We like them in all shapes, all colors, all sizes. Like we don't separate by athletic and thick and chunky. Like we just like.
Do women. You have a vagina, and are you good, nice to look at,
and listen to? Are you nice to listen to? Let's
okay.
Because some things are just nice to look at. We're talking about relationship, Mike, not just.
But you said men, we just like women. I'm saying I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying
okay. You're right. You're right. Yeah. This is true. That's true.
The bare minimum we need.
What'd you say it was? Or do you
a vagina?
Nice to look at.
And a vagina is the bare minimum. That's bare. That's bottom level bare minimum.
A bought one or never mind. Okay. Wow. Yeah. This is interesting. Wow. So Ali said a mom bod would have a fupa. Lord knows we love those.
It was so crazy, man. I'm not gonna even tap into that. It's so funny to me that women, and I feel like it's because of the culture we live in. Women don't think that men don't like a thick woman or a woman with maybe a little bit extra,
or super skinny,
Like, I just feel it's a man and a woman out there for everybody, no matter what your shape is, your size is. Yeah, it don't matter.
The older you get, the more you understand the philosophy. That was once the theme song. And that philosophy that every man lives by is that there's different strokes for different folks. The older you get, the more you actually understand what's being said there.
Yep.
No matter what size you are, pleasure can come from you.
And I think that is. Go ahead.
No, I'm about to say, and I think that's the end all for most men.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's crazy because how many times have we been out, people watching? Even when the last time we were at Hermosa Beach, that day I got my tattoo, and then we went downstairs and we were just sitting watching. How many different, in my mind, odd couples did we see? Like super young with a super old, or a super.
No, we figured out what that was, though, Mike. We figured out what that was. She was a working girl. We figured out why that was so odd. That was odd because the dollars made sense. Huh? That's why that was an odd couple.
Strike that from the record, please.
She was a working girl.
A couple of them
was working. They don't never travel solo. It's a brothel for a reason.
Where are we hanging out to where there's so many?
Hermosa Beach. Okay. Ask Pookie. Pookie used to own a brothel. She'll tell you all about it.
Wow. You used to work there, didn't you?
First of all, brothels are for women, I think. I'm not sure. I was an independent contractor.
What I said.
You did. You did say what you said. I think that when it comes down to it, you know how I say women are looking for safety in relationships, and I think men are looking for pleasure. Oftentimes that pleasure comes across as us saying we want peace, right? Peace and respect bring us pleasure. And there's certain things that a man can look like or bring to the table that equates to safety for a woman. And I think that's what that video was alluding to.
Yeah.
Why that a woman would settle down with a man that makes her feel. And that there's that phrase again, even though he can't make her feel, but a man with a dad bod gives off the impression for most women of he's a safer choice. Safe that he's going to be faithful. He's going to be home. He's going to be present. He's going to do whatever he has to do, and he wants to come back to me. It almost go back to that conversation, like in every relationship, there's a reacher and there's a settler. Right. And so if you're the dad bod guy, that means you're reaching outside of your, you know what I'm saying, your field, your league. And so you're going to always be grateful because you know this is a reach for you and she's settling for you. And so you'll always be in this place of thirst for her. And that makes some women feel safe.
Yeah, I hear that. I do agree with one thing in the video. What?
As a woman with a plethora of curves, I believe a lot of men want thick, as in T and A, with thighs, but mostly fupa free. Well, she said most men, so I, got to remember I could be the exception. So,
facts. I think our boy in the video said something to the effect of, I lost it. But
Madam Pookie lost all her men. Pimp down. Send help.
Why are my friends like this?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for for contributing to this conversation. I think that we can say that video doesn't hold much merit for us. The women are saying it themselves that they don't qualify, man. They don't qualify or verify his ability to be faithful, or they don't see him as safe based on if he has a six-pack or a dad bod. At least our audience members are saying there's other things that they're looking for, and that's not one of them. Those don't determine. Yeah, it looks like some audience members actually prefer the dad bod. Yeah. All right. So, like she said, I'll be moving on. All right, you ready? Check this out.
Why do men pursue you and then the energy just fizzles out? Well, the answer is simple. Because they got to know you. They might have been attracted to you physically, but once they got to know your personality, it just felt like you weren't a fit. Ladies, we have to stop demonizing men for doing what they're supposed to be doing while dating, which is determining if you're a good match for them. Why?
That's so good. I just want to play it again. That's so good. One more time.
Why do men pursue you and then the energy just fizzles out? Well, the answer is simple. Because they got to know you. They might have been attracted to you physically, but once they got to know your personality, it just felt like you weren't a fit. Ladies, we have to stop demonizing men for doing what they're supposed to be doing while dating, which is determining if you're a good match for them. Why?
And that goes back to what day one we've said on the show is dating is simply the process of collecting data. If I don't like the data that I receive, or if you don't like the data that you receive about me, you're free to go. It shouldn't be any hard feelings involved.
I think for me, it's not about whether I like the data or not. It's about what the data means. If I find data that doesn't complement the vision or the path that I'm on, whether I like it or not, it's not compatible. It's not complementary. And so that means I can't work with it. That's data that doesn't fit into the equation that I've been given from God to do my life plan with, whether I like it or not, right? Because, of course, people can change, but what you're showcasing, this is why I love Dub used to say something that was so valid all the time. Like, don't send your representative. Because if I'm going on a date with you to collect data about who you are to see if you and your life complement mine and you showing up pretending to be somebody you're not, then that data that I'm basing or verifying you on is going to throw me off. It's going to produce a false negative or a false positive. And what happens is that you can only fake it for so long. And that's where people get upset and frustrated, feel like they've been bamboozled and manipulated because what you showed me in the beginning is not what you're showing me 4 months later. And so I feel for the okie doke. And that's why you need to have foolproof questions, or for some people, questions don't work. Foolproof situations that you need to see people in to verify who they really are so you can collect some solid data. What you got?
No, I'm reading the comments.
What? Wow. But some of those men do have demons. I mean, I don't know if that's a deal breaker for you, McJellen. Is that a deal breaker? True indeed. It does go both ways. It does go both ways. I think that the narrative, though, in culture is that usually it's the men whose feelings fizzle out, and then you're like, why did he ghost me? Because the narrative in the culture is that men are supposed to be pursuing. So a lot of women feel that heat from the beginning, like, yo, he on me, he after me, right? And what he's after is really the data. And so when you see that change, not as many women ask themselves, like, well, what did he find out? Or what have I been showing? And this is where I've come into it when I was dating, coming in hot, showing all that energy, trying to collect this data, putting in situations, going on dates so I can see what I'm working with. And the whole time the woman is just receiving and receiving and receiving and not showcasing, not really showing me who she is. And so after a while, I think that she's nothing because she's showing me nothing but a receiver. So I don't call her or don't perceive her as a giver because all she seems to be doing is receiving. When you gonna do this for me? Or when you gonna do that for me? Or how do you do this for me? And show me that you're interested. And I'm like, cool, I'm doing these things. But if you don't show me you're interested, if you don't show me that you're a giver, I'm going to conclude that's not who you are. And I recognize I don't need that in my future. I actually need a helpmate, not just a taker. And so my energy changes. And so do my phone calls, my text messages, and everything that follows, because you weren't aware that you needed to show me as much as I was showing you, because we're both supposed to be collecting that information.
Right. I think I think for the most part, questions should be asked in the very beginning instead of assuming that this man is dating me because he just wants to be with me. He's only going to be dating. Ask, like, okay, I see you want to go on a date on me. I see you want to go on a date with me, but what are your intentions beyond this first date? Like, where are we going from here? Is this just you just want to date me? Are you dating multiple people? Like, because some people are okay with that. Some people are okay with being serial daters, men and women. And if that's what floats your boat, I'm gonna stop talking. I don't know what's going on.
Mike is ready to get off the show and go spend time with his son.
100%. 100%. If that's what floats your boat, then cool. But at the same time, if you don't ask those questions in the beginning, then you end up getting your feelings hurt, or you end up thinking the guy or the girl was playing games because we went on one date or we went on 7 dates, and then, like they said, it kind of fizzled out. Well, maybe he was just here for a good time, not a long time. And that has to be okay because it's just dating.
I saw what I needed to see.
Yeah.
And I was no longer interested because what I saw showed me that this wouldn't work in the future. We can't do life together. I concluded that based on what you showed me. Now, if you didn't intentionally show me something, you can't blame me for coming to that conclusion. Because in a dating environment, the understanding is that we're both coming here to get to know one another.
Yeah.
And that means that you need to bring something, or you need to be not just asking certain questions, but being ready to answer certain questions so I can get to know you as well as you're getting to know me. While I'm opening doors, while I'm paying for things, what you're doing in response to that is telling me who you are as well. I think too often people are spending all their time verifying who that person is, but not showcasing who they are in a positive way. And that for me gives off, I'm not interested energy. Yeah, I'm just interested in getting, I'm not interested in partnering with you. And if you, like you said, if they want to go on dates, you want to have some fun, just let that be known. Because I know I got a few homegirls who got guys that they say, I'll call you, when I want to go out and do something fun. And they the fun homegirl. You know what I'm saying? It's still considered a date, but they know it's not going nowhere, but they have that understanding.
Yeah.
What's up, brother Ken?
KD.
Nothing much, man. We over here just debating if women want dad bods or six packs. And it looks like they don't care either way. They just want loyalty.
Right. Right.
Vicky said, I dated a guy who told me he doesn't have the same level of belief I do, but he could fake it, at least until we got married. I immediately set him free. That is a disservice to both of us. Man, yo, it's your 50, bro? 5-0. Happy birthday, man.
Yes, sir.
You could be anywhere else in the world, but you decided to spend it with us. You toasted, ain't you? We should send him a link to see if he can come on the show. I want to. Ken is a fool.
Yeah, 100%.
Kenny is a fool.
Good food though. The boy could burn.
He can burn, but he's a fool, man. If he came on here, I can hear him laughing now. Just gonna set the whole show on fire. Happy birthday to you, though, man.
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday to you. All right. So, and Kenny, I want to hear you chime in on this one, bro. In honor of you, here's a video.
A lot of you guys doing way too much talking and way too much negotiating. You check them or you charge them, bro. Check them. Hey, watch that shit. Don't ever talk to me like that again. When they do it again, you got to charge them to the game. You got to put them on ice. A woman got to see you walk away from her. If she keep pushing your buttons, she got to see you walk away from her. All that talking, that shit don't mean nothing. And that ain't just with women. That's with anybody. That's with your employees. You think your job finna keep talking to you because you going in there late? You think they finna negotiate with you? No. You let your ass late one time. Hey, look. Chill out. Second time, hey, this is a warning. Third time, we're going to sit your ass down. Next time, you let your ass out of here. Why do you think companies do that? Because it's human nature. We don't respect words. We don't respect people's words. Human nature, especially women. So all that talking and shit, all that negotiating and verbal reprimanding and shit, that shit ain't going to cut it, my guy. That ain't going to cut it. A lot of you.
Chuck him or charge him. How you feel about it? Too harsh or is it legit?
I feel like it's in a relate for me. I feel like in a relationship, I'll speak on my relationship. In my relationship, I don't think it's ever a time to where I need to check Janae. Like we on the same team. We may be times we need to have a discussion. It may be times that it may be a spirited.
She's a hater, man. She's a hater. You can't trust him because he wears sunglasses inside. Stop.
100%.
Y'all ain't right. Y'all
no, but I don't think it's ever a time to where I need to check her or she needs to check me. There have been times where I've had to bring up some concerns that I've had, but it's never been out of a point of, nah, I got to check you because if I don't, you're not going to respect me as a man. Nah, Come on, man. We don't got to do all that. We should be able to sit down, have this conversation, and go on about our happy night.
Yeah.
What you think?
So I might have a little bit of a devil's advocate here.
I love it.
Yeah, it has to happen. There comes a time, and I've never been married, but I've been in enough relationships, and I think especially in the dating, I think there comes a time when people get so comfortable that it transitions into this entitlement where they aren't bringing what they promised to bring or what really helps make the relationship work because they feel like they got you wrapped around their finger. And a lot of times that can be because a good man, an honest man is trying to do that pursuit. And that can sometimes go to a person's head. And it's like, he said, you need to let them know you'll walk away. I don't believe in bluffing. I do believe in boundaries. And I do believe that if I do believe in enforcing boundaries. I don't believe in just expressing boundaries. I believe in the 3 E's. You express your boundary, you explain your boundary, then you enforce your boundary. And that's what I'm picking up off this check and balances or this what do you call it? Check or charge it to the game.
Yeah.
When someone is habitually overstepping boundaries that you've set, something needs to happen, because if not, then something needs to happen. You know what I'm saying? And I'm speaking directly because I haven't been married before, so I don't know what that's like. But in this dating, in this relationship arena, like there needs to be like, yo, okay, we're going to therapy. You know what I'm saying? If you think that's a safer bet than me walking away, I know for sure that for me, I have to walk away from anything that's pulling me away from God's purpose for my life. Yeah. If you told me you was down and you was a partner with me and we're rocking this thing together, and I see that this is taking me away, I'm enforcing that boundary and I'm bouncing, not for the purpose of threatening you, but for the purpose of my own mental health and my own life that I have to give an account for.
I think for me, my first course of action, I need to ask myself, I need to look inward and say, how did I allow this to happen? Because they're not just doing it on their own. I have to be allowing something to happen to where you feel like this kind of action is okay. You know what I mean?
All the time?
Because it ain't
all the time.
100%, 100% all the time. Because listen, I'll say every time except the first time. The first time you slapped me in the face, that's on me. I didn't see it coming. No, I'm just saying I may not have seen it. Whatever, you got me. Cool. The second time you slapped me, that's on me. That's on me, because clearly because clearly we didn't have a conversation where I said, hey, don't slap me, bro. That's not cool. I don't play like that. Don't do that no more. Clearly that conversation wasn't had because you thought it was okay to do it again and again and again. That's what habitual means. You do it over and over and over and over. So at some point, I have to realize this is my fault. I created this monster. Because what happens is we create these monsters, and then when we can't take it no more, all of a sudden, then it's a big issue. Then we want to walk out. Then we want to leave. But what happened when it really wasn't a monster? You just saw you saw bits and pieces or a peek of what it was, but you thought, that's small. I can overlook that. It's cool. I love you. We're trying to work on it.
So you didn't check the behavior.
It doesn't have to be checked. That could be a simple conversation back then.
That's a check though, isn't it?
No, not the way he was saying it. Are we talking about based on the video?
Like he said, don't do that shit again.
Right. I feel like back then
it should be more tender than that.
With the person that you love and that you're in partnership with, yes. I feel like when it was initiated, it was probably small. It wasn't that big of a deal. It didn't get on my nerves that much. That's when it's time to have hey, I've been seeing these things and just
okay. So let's have this conversation though, because we know some people communicate differently. Ken said what the MTWA stand for. Mike takes women home. That's what it means. So now maybe this will help, bro. So you shouldn't have to check nothing. Respect is respect. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like, and this is just a feeling because I haven't been married before, but when you're getting to know someone, and I've heard this from other married couples, you're still getting to know that person. Yeah. And so I think the check is really just helping that other person identify when a boundary has been crossed. You know what I'm saying? And I say it like this, the way he's communicating, it makes me think about brother Dub. You know what I'm saying? Dub said what you just said. He just happens to use profanity. Doesn't mean he has malicious feelings towards you. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean he has an evil heart, but that's just the language that he tends to communicate in. But just because someone is using maybe profanity or an aggressive tone doesn't necessarily tell you their true heart's posture. So I think that you're saying, it can't be, it's, like he said it, that it's a check versus if you just say it more tender, it's still a check. It's like, hey, I didn't really like that. I didn't like the way that felt. That's still a check in my mind.
So let me put it a different way. So you have this rose garden out front, and you going to pick some roses. You grab one, it pricks you. Do you yank it out of the ground, break it in half, rip the petals off, or do you just simply prune the flower gently?
What have I done before?
You do. But what I'm saying, when you're handling a flower, you handle it delicately, which is, in my opinion, which is how you should handle your woman.
So you calling her a flower?
Yes. A rose, like in Songs of Solomon.
All right, you're in love. Let me talk about something real quick. So there's a video I saw, right? This guy was coming home and he walked up on his porch. And so I guess that I don't know if you've seen, it was a flower pot hanging on the porch, right? And so I guess it was, they were doing it for a reason. So he walked up the steps and hit his head on the flower pot. And he turned around, swung, knocked that thing all the way out into the street. There are times when in the heat of the moment and you catch me on the wrong day, you ask me this question, so I'm answering. My response might be a little bit more aggressive, depending on how many nerves I have left at the end of the day. But I think it is, like you said, to bring this all together, it is still my responsibility to take care of that woman, even protect her from myself and how I can tend to be at moments. So I get that and I respect that. What I'm saying ultimately, though, is that in this dating and this relationship prior to marriage, I do believe, in my experience, that a check is necessary.
Necessary.
So Ken said a check means something different than a notice.
Yep.
So explain that to me. I'm here. I'm listening.
So I don't know how
I'm putting you on notice. Don't do it again.
So notice is to me, notice is more so bringing something to someone's attention. You know what I mean? That whether it's bothering you, whether it's whatever the case may be, you bringing this to someone's attention. When I'm checking you about it, it's like I'm putting you in your place with some type of aggression.
Okay, so check means aggression to you.
Listen, go back and look at the video. He was being
I hear how he said it. I was just thinking of the entire idea of checking somebody. I feel like there's multiple ways to do it. But what you're saying, checking in your mind always means aggression. I don't necessarily feel that way.
I feel like as an adult.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Let's go. He said, as an adult. Let me talk to the adults.
Like as an adult, we should not have to. We should be able to check ourselves. You know what I mean? So
I mean, we should talk to ourselves with aggression.
Or we should get ourselves in line with if aggression is needed. Aggression. Sometimes I've had to check myself, like, nigga, what are you doing?
But never your partner that way.
No.
Okay. I'm gonna call Jay on the side. Like has Mike ever called you a nigga?
No, but again, like you said, though, it just may be the partner that the person is with. Maybe they don't need to. Maybe everybody don't need to be checked. So to go into any relationship saying, yeah, I'm gonna need to check anybody that I'm in relationship at some point in time, I don't think that that's fair to the person you with, because you may not have to check them, but because you already have that mindset, it's like you're going into it with the mindset of, yeah, I'm gonna have to check you.
I like this. I think she Hawaiian. Kaililani Nakaluka says that some people don't understand that trying to check someone is triggering and doesn't always end in their favor. I'm listening. Can't say y'all need to call that number.
Knowing your partner though, because some women.
I mean, so no. I'm talking about
because my homeboy and his wife, perfect example. I feel like they've checked each other, but that works for them. It's not like, I'm out because you used a cuss word when you were talking to me. You had to go with what works for your relationship. If your partner is cool with it and he or she is okay with getting checked and you checking them, great. But that doesn't mean it'll work for everybody. That's why I said you can't just bring in your values to every relationship you get into, whether that be friendship, romantic, whatever the case may be. You got to know the person that you're dealing with. Because like Kailani said, you might go and trying to check somebody, and you might get socked in the face because they're not with it like that other person was.
All right. Respect. Fair enough.
Not you. Nobody's going to sock you.
I got punched in the face yesterday. It was an accident, but it happened.
Who?
Jay.
I believe it. Don't worry. I'm a checker when we get off the
Just punch me in the nose. I'm so sorry. I said, no, you're not. You did it on purpose. I'm going to tell the world I'm in an abusive relationship. That's not funny. Okay, so P said, and P, let me take this off real quick because she's the one that gave me this shirt. Thank you for this shirt. I see you eyeballing it, Mike. Keep your eyes off my shirt.
I was going to make one when we got off the phone.
P did said, your partner, person, friend has to also be self-reflective and acknowledge what happened in the moment and be self-accountable. I love that. I love that.
Yep.
I love that. If you want to be ultra sensitive, like you did something that crossed one of my boundaries, and you're now the whole conversation is about how I called you out. There's no self-accountability there. Yeah, I probably need to apologize.
I agree with that. I agree with you on that. I agree with you 100% on that. Like, let's not make this about how now that I'm coming at you about something that you did. Let's first acknowledge that, hey, you're right. I messed up. Let's kind of fix that first. Not get it? What?
You've been dating Jamaicans, huh? Gee whiz. So hold on. Now look at this though, because Carolina Lakaluka says, I'm sensitive. You can't check me in a serious way. Now this goes back to, I know your partner, but if you know you sensitive, then maybe you shouldn't do things that might get you checked in an aggressive way. Accidentally, I get it. But if we're talking about this video, like this habitual thing, like you need to engage with your partner to the degree of your tolerance. If you're an emotional person, then you should steer clear. I don't want to say that you should steer clear.
No, I feel like it's just like
a tough conversation to have, because I want people should be authentically who they are. And I don't want people just act like I can't be, who I am. But there is some self-accountability that you have to walk in. Like if you can't fight, then there's certain things you shouldn't say, like man to man. And I'm not saying that in a relationship it should be that way, but there is a level of understanding. Like when you're dating somebody, like you get to know this person before you pop off in your regular voice.
That goes to both sides. That just like what Pete said, both sides have to be accountable. Like you can't, like you just said, you can't pop off. And I'm the type of person, you pop off, I'm gonna pop off back, and then it goes back. Like you guys both have to know each other and know how to handle each other, not just one-sided.
So I like this, man. Vicky kind of summed it up. I think this is what's going on. Sounds like a verbiage that may be the issue. Check, share, notice, inform, educate.
I don't think it's verbiage.
I think it is, because you didn't like. I think that what you're saying, I believe, falls under the label of checking as well. And you're like, nah, bro, that ain't checking. Checking has to be aggressive.
I'm just going on the brother in the video. I'm going on his definition of it, how he was aggressive in the video.
And that's what I'm saying. I feel like he gave one option of checking, but there's multiple options of checking. So yeah. Okay, hold on. She had to clarify. Mama Lakaluka says, I'm not emotional. I'm sensitive to someone trying to tell me what to do. Someone doesn't have to tell me twice not to do something that they don't like. Respect. So you ain't never been checked then. That's a good life.
So by that vein though, Kaylani, are you saying that
first
nobody
of all,
has
name
ever
right.
you've never done something?
Her name's not Kaylani.
That's what I want to say. It's not Mama Lakaluka either. I would
is.
Like to call her
Nigga, the Mama Luka is silent. Whatever. Keep talking.
No. God, no. Jeez. Listen. But what I'm saying, what did she say?
She said they tried. They've tried.
So okay. I mean, like if you're the kind of person that can get it the first time and nobody have to go back and say anything, that's cool. But for me, it's like, but if you do it, and I'm the type of person, I don't like having to go back and say, can you please do this? Can you please do this? Can you please do this? So, I mean, I think that goes back to knowing your partner. Like, so Kaylani is saying that nobody has to tell me more than once to do something. But then what if I do? Are you then going to get mad because I've had to come to you a second time? Or should I just suck it up and not say nothing and just let it continue?
All right. Well, that brings us to the next video. Michael Daniel, are you ready?
Wow.
Michael D. Daniel? I am Michael David. I don't know who.
Ladies, do not have an attitude with these men. I'm telling you. I know, I struggle with it too. The second you have an attitude is the second you push them away. Just slow down, breathe, be vulnerable. Tell them how you feel. You know, I feel a little frustrated, or it would make me feel more relaxed if we did this instead, or if you did this instead. You see that there's a difference in saying it that way instead of like, what you mean? Or why didn't you do this? You feel me?
Where you at, bro? Because hold on. First of all, I agree with Ken. He said never suck nothing up. Just want to put that out there as a rule of thumb, Mike. Anything. Go ahead. As you were.
So y'all don't get okay. I see where the problem is. Anyway, I feel like it goes both ways. I agree with her, but I still feel like it goes both ways. We ain't gotta talk to each other all crazy. Like you upset, you bothered by something. I'm upset, I'm bothered by something. I could just come to you and explain that to you, and that's that. I don't know if Donnie is frozen. Is Donnie frozen or am I frozen? I don't know. Oh, Donnie is frozen. All right, let me text him real quick. But no, to answer your question, oh, there it goes. He'll be back on in a second. But to answer the question, I don't feel that it's necessary to come to anybody that you're in a relationship with any kind of attitude. Yeah, we get on each other's nerves, we get frustrated, but to come at me sideways.
Ladies, do not have an attitude with these men. I'm telling you. I know, I struggle with it too. The second you have an attitude is the second.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that you showing your frustration is anything negative, but I do feel like the delivery has a big part to play in how I respond. For instance, if I'm in my relationship, if it's something that's happening and I say something and Jay comes back and she says something that I feel may be like a dig or getting smart or whatever you want to call it, I say something to her about it. I've always said something like, "Hey, did you have to say it like that? It kind of sounded like, you were getting smart or you had an attitude. If it's something about something that I said to you, then all you got to do is come to me and say, hey, like, I didn't like that way you came at me." Because a lot of times people, when we in these relationships and we're in our emotions and we're in the heat of the moment, certain things come out a certain way that we don't really, we may not realize how it's coming off to the person we're with. That's why it's so important to pay attention and to guard your mouth when it comes to your partner, because it's easy to pop off. You guys are familiar, you guys are in relationships together, you guys are maybe best friends with each other, so it's easy to pop off. But I think that the key and the point is to rein that in, especially if you know that we're in a heated conversation. Like for me or for us, I feel like when I know that, okay, this could be a little tricky, it could be a little touchy, I give that disclaimer before we even go into the conversation. Like, okay, this may sting a little bit, but we need to have this talk. And I feel like even with just that goes a long way for the conversation, because now we're both on notice that, okay, whatever we're about to talk about could trigger me. Let me bring my dial way, 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 way down so I'm not on 10 by the end of the conversation. What is Donovan saying? Yeah, like Lakeisha said, you got to think before you speak. And a lot of times that's not easy. For me, it wasn't easy. I feel like it's easier for me now because I came out of a relationship with my son's mom of a lot of arguing and like bad arguments, like all out war type of arguments. So getting in the relationship I'm in now where she doesn't argue at all, it's a lot different. And in the beginning of this relationship, I didn't know how to react. I didn't know how to take it. And it kind of honestly threw me off guard, but it's turned me into the type of person where, you know what I mean, I realize now that it don't take a lot of yelling and screaming and throwing stuff and calling each other out your neck. Like, why? Especially if we know we're not going nowhere. Especially if you're the person that I say that I love and vice versa. Like, why do we need to talk to each other like this? We're supposed to be on the same team. We're supposed to be home team. So why then am I treating you like some random nigga on the street? It's unnecessary, in my opinion. My opinion. Attitude, looks, and sounds too emotional. She said, "See, that's what I'm talking about." Exactly what she said. I still feel like that just goes to knowing your partner. You know what I mean? If I know that my partner tends to just like Jay did with me in the beginning, like I was just talking about, she knew the type of environment that I came out of. So she was very I don't want to say she walked on eggshells, but she was just very conscious about how we entered into conversations that could spark some type of emotion negatively. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's not a matter of, oh, I'm not going to just change who I am to appease the other. It's not about that. It's about creating peace and harmony in your household or in your relationship. And I think that both people on both sides should be doing that, the male and the female, because, you know, if she's doing it and I'm doing it, it leaves very little room for any type of blow ups. Lakeisha said, unfortunately, I just shut up. But I get that, but that doesn't what does that fix, or what does that do for you? You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, because I've done that too. You know what? I'm gonna just be quiet. You could just talk. But deep down, I still have those emotions. I still have those feelings. I still even may have something that I really want to say and a point that I may really want to get across. I understand not saying anything for the sake of argument, but at some point, we still need to talk about that. So, Lakeisha, if you're saying you're quiet right now, but then maybe later on when things are good, you go back to it, or are you saying you just let it go altogether? Jay Smart, the back and forth, raise blood pressure and negative for your health. Bruh, 100. Thank you. What I was saying was, Vicky said shutting down sets us up for war inside of us. So what I was saying was, a lot of times it's not just a war. It is a war inside of us, but what happens is we build up these things by, you know, I'm gonna just be quiet. I'm gonna just be quiet and not say nothing. What that is building up, building up, building up, building up. So when you guys finally do have an encounter, it's this massive unnecessary explosion of emotion, because for so long you ain't been saying nothing at all. You know what I mean? When you should have been. Can you guys hear me now? Why are you not on the show? Maybe you text me. Oh, Donnie's computer shut off, people. We only got 3 minutes left. So yeah, tonight, I don't know if you guys made it to the beginning of the show, but tonight was only going to be an hour show anyway. My baby just got home from Africa, and I'm gonna go have some family time and hang out with them. But shut your mouth when you're talking to me. I honestly let the guy say what he has to say so I can understand it. When he is calm, I'll come back with I like that. I like that approach. Because a lot of times when we're in the heat of things, we're not even really listening to understand what the person is saying. We're listening to kind of combat it, or listening to get my point across. You know what I mean? But to stop and listen and then come back to it when he's calm, and even when you're calm, to me, makes for better conversation. Thanks, Vicky. Thanks, Allison. All right, party people. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I'm gonna pray us out real quick. We will be back next Sunday for the full episode, God willing. But I'm gonna go ahead and pray us out. Father, we thank you for a great episode. We thank you that brought my baby back home to me safely. We thank you for everybody going into work and going into the world this week, that you would keep them safe and keep your angels surrounding them, that you order their steps, that they're in the right place at the right time, doing the right things, Lord. We thank you that you bring peace to anybody struggling, whether it's with a loss of a family member, whether it's with depression, any of those things, Lord. We just thank you that you are moving their lives and move on their behalf, Lord. We thank you that anybody seeking financial assistance or needing financial help, Lord, that you'll intervene and show them who you really are, Lord. We just thank you for being the God that you are and waking us up on a daily basis so we can do life better. Thank you. In Jesus' name, pray. Amen. All right, y'all. Y'all don't got nothing else. I'm gonna go ahead and shut her down. Y'all have a great week. All right. Peace.
Maybe this will help. Will this help you?
Don't forget the maybe, baby. Don't forget
Hey,
the
listen.
maybe, baby.
All
Don't
I'm saying is we need to get the studio.